Well, howdy and hello, everybody. What's going on? Here it is, 6 o'clock, and we are live streaming. Project Healing Water special coming up. We're doing this every Wednesday in support of our veterans, my fellow veterans. We want you to learn how to fly fish. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to tie a fly at least, or at least a variation thereof. So how's everybody doing tonight? We're going to just give this a few minutes. Give a couple people, give everybody a few moments to join. You know, actually what I can do, I got to turn on this light and turn off that other light. Hold on. All right. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Hey, Frank, thanks for tuning in. All right, we'll flip this over to here. How's it going? So, it's been a wonderful Wednesday. Earlier today, something a little goofy, a little bit different. On my personal Facebook page, I went out and did some hula hooping. And if that wasn't enough, I solved a Rubik's Cube while hula hooping. So that was a lot of fun. But here we are. What do we got? Wednesday, the 22nd of April. So, what we're going to be tying tonight is a fly called the Matuka. It's a Matuka streamer. And we're going to do our best, as always. So, well, I guess if you're tuning in now, we're almost to 3 minutes into this live stream, and that would mean you're officially tardy for the party. Just because we're home and social distancing and all that jazz does not, nope, can't do it. All right, so let's get busy. Let's tie this fly. We're gonna head over. We gotta flip our camera. Boom, 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 to this one. All right, we're gonna pop out of there. All right, so similar to last week, I don't know if what. Honestly, I week to week, I can never really remember. Honestly, I'd have to go back. What did we tie last week? Anyways. Ah, yeah, it was the Dirty Hippie variation. That was a fun one. And with that, we used a different streamer hook, and we're going to use, yet again, a slightly different streamer hook. This is the same one that we used as last week, but this is going to be just a tick smaller. This is a Moonlit ML054. A little bit longer than your typical streamer. It's 2x long. So we're going to tie that on this. Once we see Dave Coleman check in and say hi, hopefully he'll say hi. He'll have to remind us what hooks we use out at the VA. It's 9487 or it's a Mustad. I don't remember what it is. But I don't have any of those here with me today, so we're going to be using this. It's a 2x long streamer hook. Actually, this is a... I might have to change hooks yet again. Because I thought I had something that was just a little bit longer. These are all... You guys will have to pardon my digging 2, size 2, size 2. And this is actually the hook that I want to use. You know what, we might just have to send it with this, because I don't think I have this in the size 4. Yeah, we're going to sacrifice. We're going to go a little bit bigger on our hook. And you're going to see where the difference lies. So currently in the vise we have a size 4 that's a down eye, and it is a 2x long shank. And we're going to step this whole operation up just a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in with the 057, which, look at the little bit longer length on that shank. So that's what I want on this. I want a nice lengthy shank. Ideally, I wish this was in the size 4. But for demonstration purposes, we're going to do this in our size 2. It's a bigger hook anyways. I like big hooks. I like big hooks, and I cannot lie. It's a big streamer. Well, we're going to tie it as a big streamer. Anyway, so here we go. We got our hook in the vise. And let's get this going. For my thread, I'm going to keep it down at a 140 denier. This is a Fly Masters Plus. It's a flat wax thread. Great for streamers. So let's go ahead and start this thread up front. And, you know, there's a million and one ways you could probably tie this. Imagination is going to be your limitation as far as style and technique go. Well, maybe not technique, but definitely style. Got a lot of freedom in this. So for mine, for this first one, we're going to tie one, and then we're going to tie another one, and then probably another one, and each one we're going to tie just, I don't know, slightly different, because, I don't know, it's fun that way. Alright, small silver wire, we're going to tie this in. I like pointing it down towards the right. We'll just get a couple of wraps, and we'll just shorten that up a little bit. Forward, and we're going to wrap this all the way to the rear, and I like to stay on the near side of the hook, and as we get closer we'll be sure to dance around the tip of that hook right at the beginning of that bend. Don't go down that bend at all. Alright, we'll just wrap forward once. Kind of help secure that small silver wire. And what I've discovered, I measured it out. My small silver wire is, what did I measure it at? 0.014 millimeters, or 1.5, and this I thought that was 13/100ths of an inch. That's 13/100ths of a millimeter, which makes more sense because it's made in France and it's a fine gold wire from France. So I might have spoke about that in a prior video, but yeah, correction has been made. Alright, what do we want to do next? Next we are going to, we're going to dub our body. Simple basic body. I ran out of time earlier today. Like I said, I was playing around with my hula hoop and having a good old time, enjoying my Wednesday, and then I was like, oh boy, I gotta get this ready. So, alright, let's wax our thread. Even though it's a wax thread, I'm gonna add just a little bit more wax, and just like that. We'll do that in 3D. Whoa! Nice wax thread. Alright, dubbing. This is what I'm using. I'm using a super fine black dubbing. And what do we know about dubbing? Sparse is nar. So we're just gonna take a little bit of that, and we're gonna dub this along the whole shank of the body. So keep it relatively sparse. We'll make our dubbing noodle. Pinch and twist. What I'm doing is I'm pinching and then twisting. Pinching, twist, pinch, twist. And sometimes you pull down just a little bit. Sometimes you push it just up a little bit. Alright, so this is going to get me a nice thin body. We'll get our W noodle back there. And what I'm looking for with this one is just a nice slender body on this first one. Bulk that up a little bit. Alright, keep it going. Alright, look at that. We got about halfway. Pause for the cause. We'll get a little bit more wax. Alright, let's add just another little puff of dub. The super fine dub's really nice. Maybe that's why they call it super fine. Nice and compact. I'm pinching it down pretty nice and tight because I'm just kind of going for a nice silky smooth body on this one. You could use a floss for this pattern. We can add weight if we want. You know, like I said, imagination is your limitation on this one. And I'm going for a relatively thin body on this one at first. And that's going to take us to right about there. Ooh. All right. Any questions? What do we got? Josh Anderson, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in tonight. How are you? Hope you and yours are fine and well. All right, up next, let's find our hackle. All right. So typically what you would find on this pattern, I guess what you would find traditionally is a badger hackle. And the closest thing I actually have to a badger hackle, the badger hackle is, it's got that nice dark stripe in the middle. And this fun guy was actually dyed yellow. And we're going to experiment with some different types of feathers. I got some saddle hackle off to the side. I got another, oh wait, no, I wasn't going to use this yellow one. We're going to save this yellow one for our next one. We're going to do our black one. We're going to do black on black, I think. Yeah. We're going to do our black cape. Right? Alright, so for our feathers, we got to get picky. This is our opportunity to take a second. You know, I think these are just going to be a little bit too small for my liking, so maybe we will go with the yellow. What this is going to do is it's going to go all the way down. I like that one. That'll work. So we're going to do two feathers. We're going to try to find two that are very similar in shape and size. So that's going to be our first one. And how's this one compare? I think those two look pretty darn good. Alright, so we're going to have to do a little preparation. First things first, we'll just kind of strip off the fuzz just to get that out of the way. We'll do that for our first one. Then we'll do that to our second one. Just get rid of that, not the fuzz, but the down fibers. And we can just scrap that. Take a sip of coffee. Always take a sip of coffee if you need it. Andreas, thanks for tuning in. And it looks like we also have Mr. Steve Trybowski. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. All right, so here we are. We've got one feather. And what we're going to do is we're going to end up marrying them as close as we can. You want to find two feathers as close to similar in shape and size. You know what? I think I'm going to almost go this whole full length. But we'll measure it out. So that would be our one hook's length, and we're going to leave that as our tail. Alright, so that gives us kind of roughly right about there. Alright, so we can just go ahead and at that point we can just strip off any below that point on both of these. Alright, we're just going to work with one at a time. One at a time. Alright, so there's our tie-in point, and I'm leaving myself a little bit of room up front. You know, what do we got a thing called? Don't crowd the eye. Alright, I'm just going to do one wrap on there just to hold that. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab Mr. Bodkin. And we're going to find right where that silver wire is coming off. Well, in fact, I'm just going to take a couple more turns. Temporary hold. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that point right there is where we're going to strip off this side. Just the lower half. And this is where you... Oh, I dropped it. You want to be careful. You're just peeling that one side. And if you take your time. Alright, so there's one feather. But up. And because we have one done, we can find its friend. Line them up again. Line up those tips. Right there. We'll line up the tips. Keep a nice pinch on those. In fact, what we could use is a pretty little nifty invention called the hackle pliers. So we're just gonna hold on to that. Alright, so now we're referencing this near feather that we stripped off that bottom chunk. We're gonna match that. Right there. Little bits at a time. Don't need to yank it all off at once. There we go. Alright. So there we have it. We've stripped our feathers. Let's tie them in. Make sure you got the insides facing each other. Line up where our snipped end is, and then we're going to tie this in up front. Some nice tight locking wraps. There we go. How close are we for evenness? Probably close enough for my tabulations. Alright, so we're going to carefully fold that back. Hold our tail back in our wing, and we're going to fluff our fibers up, fluff those barbs up. Alright, let's take one wrap back there just because. Careful on that tip of the hook. A tip of a hook can still break a wire just as easy as it'll break a thread. Alright, let's find that point right above there where this is going to go. This is where having a good bodkin will help. Perfect. That's our first wrap. Alright, now it's going to be a dance. Working our way forward. Just push the fibers around the wire with the bodkin, and all is well. Alright, we'll wrap it around once. Use the bodkin. Right there in the corner, I'm putting, I don't know, maybe at a 30-degree angle, maybe at a 45. And if it looks like the wire is going to smush down on it, then I flip it forward. If that makes sense. So see how it's pushing all those down? I'll just get them on the other side. Take your time. And if you get a couple that really want to fight you, then just address it later. Alright. Nice even wraps. Nice and even wraps. Are we tracking? How we doing out there? Happy Wednesday. Alright, keep it going. Couple flips of the bodkin will get that feather right out of the way. Not 100% even on that wrap, but this one I'm still gonna fish it. Kind of like this yellow on there. It's a pretty kind of fiery yellow. Keep your wire wraps nice and tight, because that's what's holding this feather, these two feathers, on to the shank of the hook. We're 100% rolling the dice on this silver wire, which is pretty good. We got it. Alright, so there we are, from back to front. We're going to leave it at that. Alright, we'll secure our wire down. Alright, if you don't have the wire cutters, you'll have to helicopter, but I recommend the wire cutters. Alright. So, I don't know, I didn't trim this off right away. I think it was just kind of more of a, just because, so I could not worry about that slipping or rotating or anything like that. So there's our tail and our wing. Alright. Any questions out there? Any questions? How we doing? Alright, Dave. Alright, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Hey, Dave, Mr. Coleman, if you could do me a favor, if you could type in what mustad hook we use. I know if it serves me correct, I know we use typically we tie this in a size 4 as our kind of our long streamer hook, and 9487 or we don't do this in the 3366. I know that. So, anyways, we'll continue on. We're gonna get some more hackle. Really like these yellow tips. I'm looking for something pretty big, so I'm going to look on the back side. That's looking pretty big. All right. Same thing, or same hackle. Let's go ahead and strip some of that down. And in fact, we're going to give it the standard high and tight. Snip that off, and then a little notch on either side of that feather. Tie this in, just like so, nice and tight. what this is gonna do. Oh, we gotta do our hackle time, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, please synchronize your watches, for it's hackle time. So we're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna need our hackle pliers for this, because this is a pretty good sized feather. And what we want to do is we want to swoop the barbules back. We're just going to take a few wraps. 1, 2, well, maybe we will add the hackle pliers. Get a grip already. Alright, and I'm going to wrap forward, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap back on top of the hackle. Alright, starting to decrease in its size, so I'm just going to go ahead and terminate it there, secure that down. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Dave. Sounds about right. 96, yeah, it's a 5x long. I mean, this is only a 3x long. Although, I might have something like that swimming around here somewhere. Alright, so we have our fibers, everything's looking, or barbs, everything's looking nice and poofy. We carefully fold that back. And we're just going to wrap on top of that just a little bit. We're not going to go all the way back, but just enough to give the front end a little bit of encouragement. Fluff that back up and out. We'll build a small head up front. We're using the 140 down here, so it's going to take a little bit to build up a big head, so we're going to tie a little small head. Alright, we'll finish this off with a whip finish. 1, 2, tray. And I'm going to do one more. Alright, there you have it. That is a black and yellow Matuka. You know, I think maybe that's it. Maybe a couple of wraps on the back. Comments, criticisms, questions? What are we thinking out there? How'd we do? Alright, let's add a little bit of head cement. You can add a little dab of whatever your head cement of your choice is. Today now, we're going to be using some Solarez Bone Dry. And we're just going to get a little drop on the bodkin. And we're just going to touch that to the front. Keep it out of the eye of the hook. Otherwise the eyes will have it. Aye, aye. You also want to be careful not to get droopy on it. Sometimes the stuff will start settling towards the bottom and it looks like it's got a big old belly on the little double chin on it. Alright, let's give it a couple more seconds. You know, the biggest thing about this UV resin junk, take your time with it. I mean, yeah, it's exponentially faster than most things, but it doesn't mean 3 seconds and it's ready to go. Alright. So, let's slide over here. And we'll come over to here. Alright, so there you have it, folks. That is a black and yellow Matuka variation thereof. Um, yeah, what should we do for our next one? I was thinking about just doing a black on black, but I was going to see about using perhaps a chenille and perhaps a black saddle hackle. Just because. We should always continue to experiment and do new things. Hmm. I'm just giving it a couple of seconds, waiting for the comments, waiting for things to catch up, check in. Let's see here. The time delay. This is really gonna. Oops. Here it is. Let's see here. Let's go. Let's spun around. All right, so it's 18:31:07. Yeah, we're in a little bit of a delay. How weird is that? The little inception action going on. Whoa. Anyways. So what is that? 31. It's only about a 20-30 second delay. That's not bad. Good job. Good job, YouTube. It's interesting because we're starting to get more and more sunlight. I might actually have to close that shade for a little bit better lighting. Purple saddle hackle. Ooh. A little black and purple. Let's head over to the bench and find that. We need. Here we go. All right. Got a purple saddle hackle. That might be the next one up. We're going to go with this black saddle hackle because that's what's right here. And we're also going to go with a chenille because that too is what's right here. All right, let's go ahead and set this up and off to the side. I like that Matuka. Matukas are fun. It's just 3 feathers. It's one of those keeple simple stupids. Here we go. Frank has one that's what is that? Green and white. Outstanding. All right. So let's go ahead and get that on. And you know what we could do? So we could add a little bit of lead wire. What do you think of that? This will add a little bit of weight to it, which will help it kind of get down just a little bit faster. Sometimes when you're fishing still water, when you're fishing lakes and ponds, you need a little bit of added weight to those flies to help that sucker get down. And you always need to have the patience of a saint. So we're going to go from the hook point all the way up front. I don't know, make it so it's equidistant. So basically what I have going on back here is I got my lead-free wire lined up with my hook point, and we'll go that unit of measure and about that unit of measure. That's close enough, within a wrap or two. Ah yes, happy Earth Day. Absolutely. If I wasn't using my phone for my camera, actually we're gonna pull that up real quick. I wrote a Earth Day haiku. We're gonna look that up real quick because it's Earth Day, and I think we should always acknowledge and recognize Earth Day because it's good. Let's see here. Oh, this won't take too long. I know everybody's just staring at my blank screen. But it's Earth Day. We gotta say our Earth Day haiku. Got a lot of things running here on the computer, so. Alright, so we got our wire on. Our lead-free wire. And we're gonna just start our thread right in front. And we'll put a little pinch on that. And I like wrapping, so my thread off the bobbin is going in between the lead-free wraps, and I'm sandwiching this bit of that tag into that wire. And what that did is in between every wrap of wire, it has a little buddy holding on to it. We'll wrap forward at an angle, and we'll go back. Oh, forgot to trim off our tag end there. What do we got here? Greetings from Summerville, South Carolina. What do they say? There's South Carolina and the rest of Carolina? I don't know. Alright, build a small little ramp at the back end. And we're going to do the same up front. We're going to really make sure that wire's locked in. And if we want, you could add a little dab of Zap-A-Gap or super glue or head cement or anything you want. Or nothing at all. Alright, here we go. Same wire, same silver wire. This is a small. I'm going to tie this in up front as well. Good, I'm going to keep this tied in on the side. I'm going to work this all the way back to the bend. About there. Alright, we'll just kind of double secure that in. Give that another. Because when we're tying streamers, ladies and gentlemen, we're not really concerned about adding too much weight. And if you're tying a nice little light dry fly, then you really have to be careful about every thread wrap and every turn. Alright, line up our thread right where our wire is hanging out. This is going to be in lieu of our dubbing. Right? We're going to just pick an end, any end. Strip some of that fuzz off. We're going to expose our birthday candle wick. About an 1/8 inch thereabouts. Set that on the back side. I'm going to rotate my thread left first before I wrap. Spinning your bobbin counterclockwise or anti-clockwise, depending on the region of the world, will help your thread flatten out, but it keeps it from jumping over to the right. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 soft wraps. Alright, I'm going to pinch onto that little stem, if you will, and I'm going to pull it up and forward just a little bit. And that compressed that chenille right up to the back side. And we'll just tie that the rest of the way in and down, and there we have it. Wrap our thread forward. Ba-ba-da-ba. All right. Let's palmer that chenille forward. Let's take a sip of coffee first. I always try to remember to hit my mute button when I'm slurping on my coffee, because I don't think everybody necessarily needs to hear my slurping. All right. Palmer this forward. Let's take touching wraps. We'll wrap this in our forward direction, same as our thread. Alright, let's work our way forward, touching wraps. This will give us kind of a little buggier, bushier. Alright, so I'm finding that with this chenille, that if I let it slide between my fingers too much, I'll actually pull the fibers. You just end up stripping it right off. Kind of see that right there. It looks a little funky, a little funky monkey. Right up front. I like that. Here we go. Couple locking wraps. And I'll just trim off our excess. Alrighty. We are ready for our hackle already. It's just like that. Alright, so I don't know how this is going to work 100%, but we're going to come in with some strung Chinese saddle hackle. This is going to turn my fingers black. I know it. I know it. This is a little bit beefier than that neck hackle that I had earlier. That cape. All right. So what I'm looking for. Oh, right there off the get-go. I'm looking for twinsies. Looking for two twinsies. There we go. Ah. So, this is going to come out a little bit beefier. There's our hook's length. I'm just kind of eyeing this up a little bit. I like that. That'll be alright. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and just trim this all off to get rid of it. Just to get rid of it. That's a whole lot of fluff. So let's measure this out. We got one hook's length. And then we'll take that back there. And we're going to tie in our stem. Right about there. Yeah? How do we feel about that? Might be... That'll be alright. There we go. Alright, so now we're left with just that little stem. Just that little Pikachu stem. Alright, so let's take this other feather. We're going to line it up. Now we can line up the tips. Nice and close. And we'll just match that. Pretty darn close. Alright. Still working one feather at a time. Now when we tie these feathers on again, we're tying them top sides out. That way they're curving inward and pressing on each other. So I'm going to start with the near one. And I'm just going to take a couple of wraps just to hold it. Alright, so that's where we're going to peel off. Pinch on that. And we'll carefully strip the bottom out. Alright, so we have, there's our current situation. It's kind of see that whole profile. It almost looks like a sexy sports car. Almost looks like a seahorse or a Mustang, or it looks like a fish. It looks like a fish. Could that be a minnow? Maybe. Alright, same thing. We'll line up our tips. Pinch down on that. There she be. Yep. Let's double confirm. Our tips are lined up. All right. Pinch those down and we'll tie those in up front. We want to make sure everything lays nice and pretty up front, nice and on top. Excellent. We'll kind of yakadoo those guys out. Whew. Dale Sanders, thanks for tuning in. Late but made it. You are tardy for the party, but all is well, all is forgiven. Let's see here. Okay, so before we continue on with the fly, we're going to go on with our my Earth Day haiku. Earth Day haiku 2020. Get ready. Protect our mother. Life-giving starship of rock. Please don't piss her off. And that's my Earth Day poem. My Earth Day haiku. Somebody mentioned Earth Day earlier, so we'll get back to close that chat. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this fly. I'm going to start off, I'm just going to take a counter wrap right behind this chenille. We got our first piece that we're going to tie in. Take your time, line it up. We'll actually want to take a little bit more. Good. Get right in that crevasse. Alright, excellent. Now, it's just a matter of wrapping that forward nice and even, Steven. Take your time, push the barbs out of the way. I take my tip of my bodkin down to the quill of the feather where it's making contact with the wire, and if it's being pushed down by the wire, I just push it out of the way with the bodkin. Oh yeah, I'm liking this one. And this looks really cool, really neat with a really nice badger hackle, which I don't have much of to speak of. Oh, a little loop in there. That was an oddball. Alright. Let's take one more wrap. Sweet! Let's go ahead and secure that down. Few wraps behind, few wraps in front. The helicopter people helicopter it off. I got wire cutters. Too easy. That's what I'm talking about. Oh. Go ahead and give that a little trim. Perfect. Tips are lined up. The back is looking swell. I like it. I like it. Alright, let's select a feather for our collar. Did somebody say chartreuse? I'll have to do some digging. I wasn't thinking purple. I got some that ring neck pheasant or that ring neck, purple ring neck. I think that was. But anyways, let's find ourselves a nice hackle for the collar. I'm looking for something a little bit bigger and webbier than that last one. I think this will do. This will do yakadoo. A little bit webbier, a little bit buggier than that last one. Alright, same as before, we'll just trim off the fluff. And this one's got a little bit of a twist to it, but I'm not gonna lose any sleep. So we know we're gonna twist right into it. Little notch on either side. A little close to that notch. I can't tell. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Hackle is on. Alright, check your watches. Synchronize them up. You know what time it is? Who knows what time it is? I know what time it is. It's hackle time. We're going to grab our hackle feather with our hackle pliers right at the hackle tip. Alright, same as before. I'll coax these fibers all to hang out towards the rear as we palmer them. I like this one. So like I said before at the very beginning, imagination is your limitation with this pattern. You can go with different colored hackle. You could go with dubbing, you could go with a floss, silver wire, black wire, blue wire. Everybody gets a wire. Alright, let's go ahead and just trim off our excess. Pink. Fold those back, and we're going to wrap on those just a little bit, not too much of it. I'm not going all the way back to the chenille, just finding that point where if you tie the first few of them down, they're all going to kind of help hold each other back and down. I think that's our spot. Just spin my bobbin a little bit, flatten that thread down, make for a nice head up front. Yeah, buddy. And this with a whip finish. That felt really good. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, little dab of glue, a little bit of head cement. And again, for this I'm going to use some bone dry in the interest of time. A little drop of bone dry. A little dab of glue. Touch that all the way around. And truly less is more. Alright, we'll set it and forget it. Black Matuka, size 2. You know, that looks very lychee. Looks very lychee. I've seen some that actually will do a different color right behind the collar. A little different color of dubbing or something like that. So there you have it. That is another variation of the Matuka. All right. Readjust these headsets. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? What's going on, everybody? Is this thing on? No, we're doing good. We're having a great time. Let's see here. Some chartreuse. Some purple. You know, I don't think I have much in the way of purple. We got pink. Ooh, an orange. How's that? That'd be pretty. A little fiery orange. It's a little... What I'm looking at when I'm looking at my hackle is I'm looking for something with some webbiness to it. You don't want your hackle to be too thin. So something, I don't know, maybe a hen hackle might work. What do I got in the color purple? We're digging. I'm checking for comments, checking. I haven't forgotten about you. You're all here. You're all my friends. All I got is some tiny little hen hackle. It's purple. Please send purple hackle, I guess. Well, I think we'll stick with that chartreuse. I'll have to do that chartreuse next. So before we continue on with our next fly, let's same black body and wing with a different collar. Okay, so we'll just do a chartreuse collar up front. Sounds fair. But I put the rest of that chenille away. Nope, there it is. Haha. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick pause for the cause, and we're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick pause for the cause, and when we come back, we'll be tying our next variation. All right, quick pause. We'll be right back, folks. Please, 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 please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Oh, there we go. Now we can hear me. Can I hear me? I can hear you. What if I could hear you? That would be pretty weird. Guess that would be a video, phone call, phone chat. Anyways, pitter patter, let's get at her. We're gonna go off of Steve's suggestion of same black body and wing with a different colored collar. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go off of that suggestion. Sounds like a good, solid suggestion. We need to boop. Make me disappear. All right. Boy, that's a pretty looking fly. I tell you what. Yeah. All right, same as before. Let's go ahead and that size 2 up there. And again, I'm going to add this lead-free wire. I think add just a touch of weight to these. So the first few wraps, and you can really get that nice and even. Line that up, and we'll work our way forward. I'm not going to cover the full length. Just do, I don't know, a band-aid's worth. Half the shank, but centered. That should help us get a nice even descent as she goes ripping through. Nice. The thing about the lead-free wire is it's a little bit stiffer than lead, and it's not as dense. Alright, let's go ahead and start this off with our black thread. We'll take a few wraps up front. And there we go. The thread coming off of the bobbin is squishing in between the thread wrap, or the lead wrap, the wire wraps, and the thread in this hand is was almost like a sewing machine. Give that a trim. And we'll just continue locking this all down. A few wraps forward, a few wraps backwards. And then we'll build a little ramp at the back end, going from the shank all the way up. We like ramps. Ramps are nice. Not that a ledge is bad, but in this case, it's not good. We want nice, smooth transitions. Oh boy, we're getting almost to the barcode. If you can read this sign, you are almost out of thread. So it looked like earlier, just a few minutes ago, we had 12 viewers watching all at once. I want to just take an opportunity. You know, it takes a lot for somebody to tie a fly. It takes a lot to teach somebody. It takes a lot to broadcast it live. It takes a lot to go through all this and that. I go through a lot of work. You know, I didn't necessarily spend too much time prepping for the fly itself, but I spent time, you know, kind of behind the scenes, getting everything ready, you know, months and years in advance. You know, before tying flies live became such a cool thing to do all of a sudden. There was Aaron in the front. And why I do it It's for you guys. You know, if nobody watched my videos, then I wouldn't post them on YouTube. I would just record the video and save it somewhere, I suppose. That's what I'd have to do. But YouTube is pretty neat in the fact that, you know, it allows me to not only archive the fly that I tied, because I have a brain injury, folks, and it's hard for me to remember things. And that's why I started the YouTube, is to help me remember what I tied and how I tied it. No better way to remember what you did than to actually sit there and watch yourself do it. So, you know, I really appreciate each and everybody tuning in. You know, I've been doing at the YouTube channel for coming on what 4 years now, 4 years, 4 years on the YouTube channel. So, you know, it's been a lot of fun. I've grown a lot as a fly tyer. Sometimes I look at my earlier videos, and it's kind of scary. Part of me wants to take it down, but I'm just like, you know what? It is what it was. You know, I wish I was out here doing a lot more live streams, just kind of in between time. But it's kind of tough for me personally. You know, this staying at home and the isolation, like everybody else, it's impacted me mentally. And, you know, I'm already predisposed to not the greatest of mental health. And, you know, it's when you sit there and you want to tie a fly, but you can't. You want to do something you love, but you just, I don't know, for whatever reason, you just, it's hard to do. We're going to palmer our chenille forward now. I'm sorry, we left, I don't know, 2 eyes behind the eye. Eye. Alright, we're going to take our chenille, palmer this forward. Nice tight touching wraps. But I don't know. It's always been a thrill sharing my story with everybody, sharing my passion of fly tying, and it's been really interesting getting the contacts from the various people wanting to know my setup and this and that. And you know, I'm not all that in a bag of chips. I'm a very humble person. I look at what, you know, some other YouTube creators and fly tying artists and what they're doing, and it's just like, man, you know, if I had that setup, if I had that camera, this or that. So I don't know. Grass is always greener, right, folks? All right, we'll just secure that off. I was watching another YouTube, brand new YouTube artist, YouTube creator, and I don't know. Let's see here. You know, the thing is I was really kind of planning on starting the live streams again, and I really didn't want. I almost didn't want to commit to a very specific, regimented time slot. My intentions were to just, and I had it all. Here, I'll show you real quick. You know, it was the pop-up live streams. Here we go. Pop-up. That's actually with a different camera, right? So, and the scrolling on the bottom is different. It says, you know, pop-up, benchside pop-up, and you know, I got all this extra time around the house, this, that, and the other, and it's almost too much. I've got into all sorts of different creative outlets, different hobbies of mine of the past and present and future. Alright, let's find ourselves some hackle. Eugh, that one's definitely seen a better day. Well, we got lucky on that first swipe because those first two just jumped right out. They're like, hey, we're twinsies. Oop, maybe here. Not quite. Maybe this one and this one. We're looking for two similar hackles. How are you and you? Not quite. I do like this one, so we're going to use you as kind of our touchstone. All other hackles shall be compared to you. Don't feel so special. Feel very special. I'll never find another one like it till I do. Let's see here. That'll work. Well, have no fear, Steve. We're going to continue on with our live streams. It just probably won't be at this time slot. Or who knows? I mean, my Project Healing Waters may completely change in the future. We might not be doing what we used to do when we did it. Alright, so that's about it right there. Alright, we're going to just tack this on just as a placeholder. And then we're going to why am I doing that? For a split second, my brain told me that one side was flipped over, but it wasn't. Alright, let's use Mr. Bodkin. Alright. Not at the base, or at the tip of the feather, but at the base of the feather where it's peeling off. I'll just get a little indentation. And I can start stripping those down. Alright, just a couple wraps of thread. Let's verify. I like it. I like it, I really do. Alright, let's see if we can't do that with this feather. I'll just trim that junk, get it out of the way. I don't think I like that feather. Nope. Back on the hunt for another feather. I think this is going to be it right here. You know why that feather didn't work? It's because I cut it too soon. I just wanted to strip the fuzz. Strip it, strip it. Strip it, strip it. There we go. Good job, buddy. Alright, so that's at this side. And then we'll take the other side. We'll match up the tips. I said we'll match up the tips. There we go. Alright, and we can strip the back one or the far one. Remember, you can always take more fibers off. You can't grow them, stick them back on. It's not allowed. Okay. Just using this front one as a reference. Let's see how we did. Let's line these up. Tie these in also carefully on the top side. I think that'll do us. A little twisted though. Okay, we'll find Mr. Bodkin. Right there. Whew, that's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Tough on the shoulders. Alright, we'll do one wrap back here. Now let's get ready for the tie-in. You don't want to come at it with too much pressure. There we go. And once you get it started, it's pretty good to just kind of rock on with it. Fold those forward. And this can be a really, really neat pattern once you get the right hackle, getting in there. I think we might have some interference. I'm hearing a clickety click click on my speakers, which is usually not good. So hopefully we don't lose signal. So what are we thinking for next week, ladies and gentlemen? I'm thinking maybe a grasshopper. Foam hoppers, some easy foam hoppers. Did we do that already? Yeah, I think we did. I think that was like week 2. How many weeks have we been doing this? I don't even know anymore. Everything is a blur. Ooh, the Patriot Streamer. Now that was a fun one. Maybe we should do we could do a Patriot dry fly. We could do the no, you know what? Maybe we could do a Patriot Streamer. It sounds like fun. Is that the Patriot Blondie? See, then again, here we are. We're going on the that memory game. All right, so we got our wing and our tail, a wing and a prayer. That came out pretty good. And if you have any of these barbs that got trapped, that's what you got your bodkin for. But I think we did a good enough job. And everything is in line and on top. It's like a big mohawk. Call it a mohawk streamer. Alright, so we got some chartreuse. And we're going to go with this bright chartreuse. This is a bright chartreuse saddle hackle, and I'm going to go with this nice floppy sloppy one. It's almost like a schloppen, but it's not quite. It will relinquish itself out of the bag. Oh, nice. Tied it in a wet and a dry. That's cool. Did I tie it in a wet and a dry? I don't know. Made a set to give a kiss. Well, if that's what you did, that is freaking awesome. If I did that, that's pretty cool. Wish I could remember it. Alright, so yeah, it's kind of, I'm matching up the length on that hackle so that my longest hackle matches up with that longest hackle. And I'm going to cut that down just a little bit. And here we go. High and tight, high and tight. When I say my high and tight, this is what I do, ladies and gentlemen. I rest my scissors on my middle finger. Right? And I go on one side. Go see if we can get a little bit closer. snip on the other side and snip. Snip, snip. Right, now we got a little anchor. That's awesome. That's exactly why I do what I do. I mean, it's inspiring others to do something. Alright, we're going to tie in our hackle. Oh! It's hackle time. Let's go ahead and finish tacking that down. Alright. Hackle pliers. Grab our hackle feather by the hackle stem. And we're going to wrap this forward with a couple of wraps. Oh, buddy. This is going to be a hot fly. This is one hot Matuka. Take your time, take your time. And that is when I silently swear in my own mind. Dang nabbit. I just need a sip of coffee for that. And when I'm saying I'm drinking coffee, I'm drinking my coffee. Alright, where were we? Let's try this again. Hey. That's the first time that's happened to me tonight. Alright, let's try that again. Fold the fibers back. You'll thank yourself later. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of pain. Yeah, maybe one more. I like that. I've seen some versions of this tied in with a bucktail, some sort of beard, or gills on the bottom. If it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. Hiya, Dad. Hey, Paul. If you guys couldn't tell, Richard Husingfeld is my father, and earlier, Jessica Husingfeld, that's my wife. And, you know, a family that supports one another, you know, that's why we go fishing with each other. We fish together, we tie flies together. I like this one. Steve Trybowski, thank you. Chartreuse and black for the win. I like that. Finish that off with a nice little whip finish. Let's go. And this is precisely why I don't put my materials list before we tie our fly, because the reality is, in my brain, on my bench, in my world, you never know what you're going to get. You never know where we'll end up. So I'm going to ask you folks, if I do kind of some more pop-up live streams, are you guys going to tune in and watch? And tell your friends? Because with this, I've had all week to think about what we're going to tie and this and that. So, I don't know. I tried doing some live streams. I've done a few different fly tying live streams on my Instagram page and different Facebook groups, and you know, I don't know, it doesn't quite have that feeling. What is my favorite tie to fly? Favorite tie, fly to tie? I'm gonna let everybody else that knows me answer that. You guys go ahead. If you know me, I'm gonna let you speak for me. My favorite fly. What's your guess? Because the answer should be almost unanimous. Man, that sucker's hot. Glow, baby, glow. I know I have a little bit of a delay, so we'll give it a couple extra seconds. Man, you know what? That's the golden ticket right there. I like that one. Do we try one with a, no, I don't even want to do a chartreuse wing. Ooh, Dave's Mr. Brown. Ooh. I'd have to do some digging. I'd have to find it, because I have the elusive Mr. Brown material somewhere. We'll have to do some digging. Well, we might do that. We'll put this back up. We'll just do a quick. We'll just leave that up there, because that just looks nice. That just looks nice. And we want to go back to this camera. There. Alright, so yeah, you know what? Dave's Mr. Brown. Oh, where? I'm just trying to think. The Mr. Brown, I have to have the right materials in order to do a proper Mr. Brown. And if I remember correctly, Dave's Mr. Brown goes on a jig hook. And I don't think I have that 60-degree jig hook. So we probably won't be able to do the Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is a fun pattern. I'm looking. We'll have to do some digging. We'll have to find the Mr. Brown. I'll have to figure out what category I put that in. I don't know. It's 1:30 in the morning in the UK. Holy smokes, 1:30. Alright, well, we'll answer the question. What is my favorite fly to tie? The humble, yet mighty woolly bugger. Maybe we should just do a woolly bugger next week. Or did we already do buggers? You know what? I think it might be time for woolly buggers. Maybe woolly buggers next week. I don't know. Get it for next week pattern. That might be hard. Well, we'll have to see. Let's do one last Matuka. And we'll do that. We'll finish out one more. And then we're going to call it a night. Matuka, how you doing? So let's do one more. Where'd my hooks go? So I see Richard recommended a white and red and white. Da, 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 da. We need white chenille then. Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll do a white body with a white wing and a red hackle up front. Red hackle. All right, so we need to switch threads. All right, so we're gonna switch threads. Switch bobbins. We're actually gonna go with a 210 denier. Same flat wax thread. All right, here we go. Here's my little trick. Get yourself one of these little blue dental things. Get your thread wet. And it's as simple as that's the hard part. Grab a hold of it with your hand. Put the needle in. And just like that, your bobbin is threaded. Alright, we're ready to go. Alright, we're gonna I like adding the weight on this. Clean up that back end. And we'll take some wraps forward, do a little bit more. Like that. So again, yeah, using lead-free wire, this is pretty chunky. 0.030, and it doesn't helicopter off well. It doesn't bend that. I mean, it bends well, but it's definitely not as soft as lead. All right, what do we got? My peeps. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Go ahead and start our thread directly in front. And remember, I have to consider the thread that I'm using is twice as big, has twice as much mass as the last thread that I was using. Okay? So I have to remember that. Especially when it comes to working on the front end. Well, thanks for tuning in, my peeps. We are working on Matukas. The Matuka streamer. I think what a lot of people visualize for Matuka streamers, or for their first, I'm going to create my own first fly. I think a lot of people see something like a Matuka in their mind's eye. And that's why you get some of these full feathered flies. It's interesting because you really don't see too many patterns that, will use a full feather like this. You know, a lot of times it's palmered on or this or that. It's very rarely in its natural habitat. It's natural. You know what? I'm gonna flatten this out. Check this out. We're gonna go on this back side of our, and we're gonna just do a little red tag in. That only we'll know about. Alright, let's tie in the chenille. Enough shenanigans. Some white chenille. Could do a dubbing, could use yarn, you could use virtually anything. But for simplicity's sakes, right here, right now, we're going to use some white, medium white chenille. Let's go ahead and wrap that forward. Right, you can tell this guy's been on the card. Look how crinkly he is. That's alright. We'll take our touching wraps, working our way forward, up our ramp. Well, you'll have to check the previous ones we tied up here earlier. Well, yeah. We've tied a black and yellow one, was our first one. And then we tied a black and black. And then we tied a black on black with a chartreuse. If it ain't no use, it ain't chartreuse. Bada boom, bada bing. And we have the Husinkfeld Life. That's what I'm talking about, folks. Support from family, support from friends. This is what we're talking about this time of year. Or this time of, it's what we're doing. Alright, so there's our chenille body. Boy, that looks fishy just as it is. Alright, let's find ourselves some white hackle. I know I got some white hackle here somewhere. And there we have it. Let's find... No. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta dig. What can I say? And we got Doug. Thanks for tuning in, Doug. Doug Draper. Alright, so these, look at this. This whole bag is just some loose white hackle, so we're going to have to pull some of these feathers out until we find two that we really like. I like that one. Some of these have just a little bit too much curve in them. Or too much body. They're great feathers. I want two that are similar. Are you similar? Not quite. Getting closer. There we go. And we're going to do a red one for the collar. We're just picking out our wing. Our wing hackle. Alright, so there's my two. There's my two I decided to go with. Alright. Whoa, That's why we put the cap close on our head cement. Oh no. Well, that's alright, we got plenty to work with. Alright, so let's take our hook's length. And that'll take us to right about there. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so we'll just strip off the remainders. Alright, I'll park this up there with a couple of wraps. Find our Mr. Bodkin, and we're going to look for a point on our stem. Here we have it. Nice tight pinch and a nice swift tug. Boop, boop. There we go. There's one. Alright. Once again, we'll line up the tips. Too darn close. And the closer to identical you can find your feathers, you can get your feathers, the better. The closer the match, the better. A couple more, and that'll do us. And now I'm looking underneath, right about there. Fantastic. Okay, once again, we'll just make sure we got our tips lined up. Insides facing inward. Set this all carefully down. And let's tie this in. On top. Make sure it stays on top. That'll do it. Alright, let's, before we go too far, we're going to take one wrap down there. Just to kind of get things set in their place. Anybody that doesn't want to play along, they get to meet Mr. Bodkin. Alright, keeping it on top, we're going to work our wing back. Just tap, 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 tap those barbs out of the way as you advance forward. You want to push them down, push them back up. You want to lay down, lay them back up. Take your time though. This is one of those patterns that, you know, you don't need to rush nothing. Don't rush it. Here we go. I will say one thing we did miss out last week by not meeting at the VA for Project Healing Waters. I didn't think about it until just now. I didn't bring in cookies or a treat. Last week would have been the week for treats, because last week was my birthday. My birthday was on the 17th, and I would have brought cookies or donuts or something in, because that's just how I roll. I like that. Not the cleanest, but that's a very serviceable wing and tail. 12 people still tuned in 2 hours into the live stream. Outstanding. Outstanding. I appreciate it. So the quest is for some red. Red hackle, where art thou, red hackle? This should work. What do we got here? Ooh. Now this is a strung neck hackle. What is the length on this? It looks pretty small. Yeah. Not quite the one we're looking for. Hackle comes in different shapes, different sizes, different lengths. And sometimes until you can get it on there, Patriot Streamer Step by Step 2007. That was 3 years ago. Wow. And this is junk. Look at that. Maybe not. Maybe this one? Let's do that one. All right, yeah, I'll have to double back and double check, look up and re-verify that Patriot Streamer, which is basically the Patriot dry fly, but it is a streamer version, which is right up our alley because we don't fish too many dry flies for smallmouth around here. So we'll probably do that, and we'll probably be on this hook again too. Alright. Red hackle, red hackle. Uh-oh, there it is. Alright. So I'm assuming we're almost synchronized with our watches. We're getting awfully close. Go ahead and take a second and look down on your watch, because it should say that it is 7:50 and 12 seconds, aka hackle time. Oh yeah, I appreciate it, Steve. You're a very familiar name on the All Tied Up Fly Tying School. That's why I think I got your name on the old credits. That I kind of had the honor roll. And that's the thing is, you know, I've been live streaming for quite some time. And what's interesting, Steve, is those older live streams, you know, they were all shot on my smartphone, but then YouTube took my ability to wait to live stream. And that's why everything kind of disappeared for quite some time. It wasn't my fault, it was YouTube. But we're almost to that point where we have 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 910 subscribers for the All Tied Up Fly Tying School channel. And when we hit that 1,000, it's going to feel pretty good, because that will allow me to just, without the aid of my laptop, I'll just be able to live stream whenever I want here on YouTube. Alright, we'll fold that back. We'll clean that up a little bit. We're going to wrap some of those barbs just so they push down just a little bit. Not fully up on all of them, just enough to kind of get it started. I think that's beautiful. Hook finish. It was interesting because what I saw was a Barry Ord Clark, the featherbender, I believe it was, did a tutorial on how to whip finish. And what I do is I go at it this way. which kind of helps it lock in. But I guess it's 6 1 half a dozen. There's a million different ways to whip finish. Find which way works best for you and become confident in it, and you'll be happy for the rest of your natural born fly tying life, which is a good thing. Got rid of some of that junk hackle. Ugh. Junk hackle. It's no good for nobody. Alright, let's add a little dab of head cement up front. A little dab of Solarez bone dry. So yeah, on YouTube they have different statuses as far as YouTube creator status, and once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will officially be Opal. I think right now I'm a Sapphire creator status. And then when you hit like 500,000 subscribers, see, it goes from 1,000 to like maybe 100,000. 100,000 subscribers, then you are silver, and then they send you the silver play button. Then you hit the like 500,000 and you're gold and whatever. It's it's just incentive for YouTube to throw out there to dangle a little carrot, if you will. That's gonna swim really good. I'm gonna push a little bit of water up front with that hackle, and that's just gonna get them excited. Nice and even. The tail's pretty slick. Pretty darn slick. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just wind things up, wind things down. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Times are stressful. Take a second. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And, focus on the good things in life. Focus on fishing. Focus on tying flies. Focus on some awesomeness in your life. Focus on this beautiful red and white Matuka. So leave in the comments which Matuka was your favorite. We got the red and white. We've got the black and chartreuse, the all black, and the black and yellow. What do you guys think? After this live stream is done, go ahead, come back, hit that thumbs up button, that like button. You can hit that thumbs up button right now. It's muchly appreciated. What that does is that helps trigger the YouTube algorithms to direct people my direction. So this is our Matuka streamer. Next week, tentatively, let's plan on the, what did we say? The Patriot streamer. So if you want a preview of how to tie next week's what did I say? Patriot streamer. Let's see, Steve Trabowski, great guy, helped us out. Patriot streamer, I have a step-by-step video on it back on March 5th, 2017. So if it's a step-by-step video, that means there should be an accompanying fast-forward video, which is basically the exact same thing, but the time video on that's compressed down. So, yeah, check that out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Project Healing Waters, I have all sorts of information. What did I say? Project Healing Waters. In the description, check it out, projecthealingwaters.org. Healing those who have served through the art and sport of fly tying and fly fishing. It's what helped save my life. It helps what keeps me motivated and keeps me moving. It's why I tie flies. All right. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and I think we're going to leave it at that. Yeah, so it was a good day. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Um, Thank you all for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe, happy tying, and tight lines. Peace out. All right.